about boxing, what's your take on pivoting on the ball of the foot when you hit?
Okay. Good question. It's a controversial question in boxing as well,
Right.
not just in internal martial arts. And we see some schools of each one who pivot on the ball of the foot when they hit, and ours which doesn't, for very specific reasons. Although there always comes a time when you can hit at any point when you need to, but generally speaking, for good practice, doesn't. So if we look at boxing, it's normally something that's taught in the beginning level of punch mechanics, that you want to throw your body and your hip into a punch. So with the pivot, so if we take a left hook, for example, okay, if I'm throwing a left hook, by spinning on that ball of the foot and pushing it into the ground, I'm able to transfer the force from this hip and my body weight onto my back leg there. Okay, it's a clear example of transferring power across.
Yep.
Okay, and in beginner level boxing, that's generally taught. If you look at very high level professional boxers, they don't pivot. They pivot on a right cross because they have to for reach, to bring their shoulders around, and the mechanics of a boxing stance, they need to. But if we look at the left hook, because it's a really good example, they generally don't pivot, but it's taught in gyms in the beginning to pivot on there. Why? Well, the reasons that I've just mentioned, in terms of being the ease of throwing your weight into something. The problem comes is afterwards. So once we've thrown our weight here and we're in that position, it's very difficult to reset and come back. Correction, it's not very difficult. It takes time to be able to reset your position and then hit again. So the classic is, if you're hitting from here, you've then got full rotation to hit here. Okay, that's fine. But what happens if you want to do something like classic kind of Jack Dempsey or Mike Tyson, where they hit 1, 2, yeah? Go for your hands are up here, go for the body, your arms come down, exactly, bang, okay? That becomes not so easy to do when you're on the ball of the foot. So that's why we prefer a weight shift here, bang, 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 bang. Okay, so that's one reason why, for the repeat hitting. So you may think, well, can we produce as much power? Power is all about weight distribution and then rotation and moving the body. So the setup is when we move. So you throw a right hand, I move here. My weight transfers to that hip straight away. It's loaded, okay? I'll come in a little bit closer, throw the punch, bang. To be able to do that, I can of course pivot, do it again. I can pivot here, but my balance is now way back here. For speed, I'd rather go here, okay? So that's one good reason. The other reason would be about producing power from the ground. When you pivot on your ball of the foot, you're reducing the foot contact surface level on the ground, okay? So when the punch comes, bop, here, and I'm there, I've got far less contact with the ground. Shingy and Ichiran in particular, we need to have this kind of tram lines, friction from the ground, mud stepping very close to the ground to produce the force up and then out at the back of the body, okay? Lots of other things going on, but on a basic level, that's what we're talking about. So coming up on the ball of the foot, we reduce that, whereas we don't need it. If we look at it fine mechanics, I can get that rotation of weight here, and it's exactly the same with a bung chuan. So you hit, I can bung here and here at the same time. At no point my feet are coming up, okay? So I would say that by pivoting, the argument from my side against pivoting, one, you're putting yourself in a more compromising position after you've done it. Your balance won't be so good and you won't be able to reset as quickly and hit again. And the second reason would be you lose power.
Okay, thank you.
Cool.